Hey, badass business owners, I want to talk about sales. And I've had some conversations with some people recently that are struggling, if you will, on sales. They're just not doing as well as they have in the past. They feel like they just can't seem to get as many customers as they once were able to get, that people just aren't purchasing. They might be doing invoicing and people just are like, yeah, I'm not quite ready yet. But there's a lot of frustration around sales and how they have been down this year. And a couple things I want to go over. Yes, sales have been down for a lot of different people. And there's a lot of different factors that go into that, especially in businesses that did really well back in COVID. They're really hurting now because they see that as a benchmark for the sales that they did, especially if they were home-based businesses. And now that they're, the people are no longer working from home as much as they are. There's just not as much of a need to fix those things that were irritating them when they were working from home. So they're trying to compare things to what it was back then. And that's the first thing you need to get rid of. It's a different time altogether, and you cannot compare today's sales against COVID. Because on the flip side, there were businesses that were down, and now they're just blowing away what those sales were because now their businesses are back open, they're thriving, they're doing well. But in general, there are times when our sales are down, and it's important to ask ourselves, what are we doing to fix that problem? And when I'm talking to people, some of the most basic things that I always like to ask people is, are you following up with clients from the past? I mean, these are people that already love you. Are you checking back in with them? And a couple different ways that is done. One is, say they've used your service in the past, and let's just say that your service can be done every 3 months, 6 months, a year, and maybe even every 3 to 4 or 5 years. It doesn't really matter. Have you followed up with those people to see if they need your services again? So for example, even if it's something that's every 6, 7 years, septic, cleaning or whatever the case may be, call them up and say, hey, you guys had your septic cleaned with us back in, 2018. And I just want to follow up with you and find out, are you looking forward to do you want to set that up to have your septic cleaned instead of waiting until it backs up into your house? It's a conversation that you can have. Let's say you clean carpets, and last year for the holidays, you cleaned Mrs. Johnson's carpets. Why not call Mrs. Johnson up and say, hey, you had this clean last year. Would you like us to go ahead and get you booked so that you're ready for the holidays that are coming up today? Follow up with those past clients. Make an assumption they want to use you. Here's the thing. If for every 10 people that you call, you're probably not going to get all 10 people to say, yes, I want to use you. But if you can get 2 or 3 of those people to say, you know what, I'm so glad you called. I've been meaning to give you a call and reach out to you because I need to get this done. If you reach out to 10 people needing their septic service and only 1 does, that's 1 more client that you had. But what's interesting is when I've mentioned that to people, especially in the past, and then I follow up with it when I'm talking to them a few weeks later, they're like, yeah, no, I haven't gotten to that yet. I haven't done that yet. Well, it's hard for me to keep hearing that your sales are down when you're not doing some of the things that you can do to help get those sales out. If you've done invoices for people, go back over the last year for all the estimates that you've done and follow up with them. And I get that they didn't have the money, but their situation may have changed. You can run a special, especially because we're in the back half of the year at the time of this recording. Why not reach out to them and say, hey, I just want to let you know I'm running a special where I'm doing 10% off if you book it for the end of this year. And we go ahead and get that knocked out in the next couple of months. It doesn't hurt anything. Their estimate is still good. If they say no, they might reach out to you. But if they're on the fence and they were just holding on to that money, they might say yes. We have an election year. And one of the things is people with cash tend to hold on their cash every election year, every 4 years until after the election, because it doesn't matter what party you belong to. You think the world is going to end, cash is going to crash and all this stuff. And guess what happens? Every year we have an election. And then a month or 2 later, all of the people with cash go ahead and start spending that money. So why not reach out to some of those people? You might be surprised. People you have an estimate with want to go ahead and move forward. Their need to have it done is still there. And hopefully, if you were paying attention as to why they wanted to use you, leverage that to your advantage. Hey, when we last talked about your yard, you were really excited to be able to spend the winter season out in your backyard because here in Arizona, it's obviously hot during the summer. So you might tell somebody and have that kind of conversation. Granted, if you're in Minnesota and it's going to snow, they're not going to want to do their backyard. But maybe there's some interior thing that they've been wanting to get done that you now can follow up on if you're in the snowy areas. I guess where my frustration comes in isn't so much that's just an example of something that you can be doing. But where the frustration comes in is how many times I see people throw their hands up saying, hey, I'm so tired of not having any sales. And it's just, people won't use us. And I just can't seem to get people to call, but they're not doing anything. I'd much rather hear that you're trying to throw everything in the kitchen sink at the wall to try something. Are you looking at your website? Are you making sure that if somebody clicks the button to send you an email, that it actually comes to you, to make sure that you're getting those? I can't tell you how many people I talk to that are frustrated, myself included, when I reach out to somebody via email and they do not, from their own website, and they do not call back, and it's a business owner. I did it last week. Same thing happened. And it's amazing to me, why even have it on there? Another thing that people do is they make it so hard, because that form that's on there, it doesn't reach them, but nowhere on their website do they happen to have an email address that you can do outside of that form. And really it's a missed opportunity, because if that form's not working, they might reach out to you themselves through their own email and be able to get a hold of you. So that's just another simple thing. Looking at your Google listing and asking yourself, go back and look at it. It's been a little slower. You're not as busy as you once were. Go look at it. Does it make sense? Do you even talk about the services and things that people might be searching for you with? There's so many different things that you can do to help get your business some sales. They're not going to always work immediately, but what you're doing is you're planting seeds, so that if people are holding back for whatever reason, when the time comes, they're ready to use you. Are you leveraging sometimes? I'm not a big fan of always doing specials and discounts and stuff like that. But when you're starving, you need to do something. If your competition is underpricing you, you need to do something. Yes, you need to be priced correctly to be able to make money. I'm not saying go out there and run a special or do something that's going to cost you money, that at the end of the day, you're going to lose money. That's not what I'm saying. But if you normally make 25, 30% on a product or a service that you do, yeah, eat 10%, 20% of something is better than you not getting anything. And it's only a short period of time for you to be able to stimulate and find out what's going on. There's times I've talked to people where they're just throwing their hands up because their competitors are doing really well. Well, if your competitors are doing really well and they've still got business, that tells you that it's not a problem with your field. It's not a problem with what it is that you offer. It's a matter of what you personally are doing within your business. Why are they doing well and you're not? You need to solve that piece. You need to dive in. You need to go undercover. You need to have family or friends go undercover. What are they doing differently? You don't know if they're not calling all those past clients and they've done really well. You don't know if they've invested in their SEO and they're getting more people in the business. You don't know if they're doing something different. In some cases, it's their service level. They're just offering better service. Their word of mouth by people out in the field is just better than yours. They're reaching out within their community. If you're in a smaller town, maybe they touch more people within the community than what you're doing right now. That you're just kind of running your business, and yet they're out there and they're trying to get a name out there for name recognition. There's something that a lot of times people are doing that you're not doing it. All I'm asking you is, don't sit on your hands if you're struggling with sales. You have to be doing something, trying something. You might try 10 things before something is successful, but you've got to be out there looking. And you know what? Find inspiration in other businesses. Don't just look at your particular type of business. Look at what other people are doing that you consider to be doing really well right now and successful, and go see if you can tweak that and make that fit into what it is that you do. Is there something that you can steal from them or borrow from them, if you will, so that you can do it in your particular business, so you can try to get your sales and to get them going as well? Are you putting things together? Are you bundling things? Are you saying, hey, I'm making an irresistible offer. Not only do you get this, but you also get this for the same price, and I'm going to throw it in and I'm going to combine it. Whatever it is that you do, think outside of the box. What can you do to get some sales? What can you do to create people coming into you? And I'm telling you, I'm going to circle back to the beginning of this where I talked about going back to your past customers and clients. I'm telling you, they are a gold mine. They already love, know, and trust you. They already like you. But we do a horrible job with following up on them just to check in, just to let them know what's going on, to do an email sequence with them where once a month we're sending them an email, reminding them about how great, not necessarily how great we are, but just teaching them, telling them something. Did you know that if you do this, this, and this, it's going to extend this? Somehow you've got to continue to get in front of your past clients because they already love you. They already want you. And it's a totally missed opportunity. Look, I could go on and on about this particular subject, but what I really want you to do is, if you're sitting there and you're frustrated by your lack of sales or the fact that you're not growing or that you're not finding people, do something. If you're doing something and you're throwing stuff, I applaud you. You're doing great. Okay. It's frustrating, but I promise you're planting seeds. But if you're just sitting there and you're moaning and groaning and you're not doing anything, or you should be doing something and you're not doing it, that's on you. You're the one that is holding up your sales. You're the one that's causing the problem. I'm not saying you're all of it, but you are a piece of it. You're part of the solution. You've got to get out there. You've got to do something, and you cannot just sit back and just week after week go, well, you know what? It's slow. And that's part of the frustration, because I'll talk to people and they didn't do anything from one week to the next, or I'll talk to them a month later and they didn't do anything in that month and they're still having an issue. And I feel for you. I feel bad for you that your sales are down. But if you're not doing anything, you got to look in the mirror. The person in the mirror is who's holding your business back. And I just want you to get out there, and I want you to do something. So consider this your kick in the butt, your kick in the pants, whatever you want it to be. Get out there and go try anything and everything, and look at your business from all angles and ask yourself, what am I doing and what am I not doing that I need to get doing? It's as simple as looking at your Google, at your website, at your communication, whatever it is. I want you to look at anything and everything possible to help grow your business. Because if you're doing that, I promise you're going to get some sales. May not knock the doors off, but at least you're going to get some sales, and you're going to start planting some seeds that you're there and that you want to help these people, and business will come. Okay. So it's not an end all, but I promise you it will solve a big chunk of your problems of what is going on. And with that, I'm out of here, and I will talk to you next week. Bye for now.